Hammers, build your body and your bank. Check out how to earn 10K per month plus with my Business Intelligence Finance Technology Consultant Training Accelerator program. Link in the description.
Hello Hammers, Hassan Hammer here. Thanks for joining me. Welcome back to Hammer Fitness. All right, it is that time again. Time for a workout. Now, I know my audio sucks, but I'm working on it. I actually got a lav mic. I got the wrong type, unfortunately. So tomorrow, it will arrive tomorrow, and then the audio quality will be fixed. If you're new and you're just joining me, a little bit about myself. So I put on 40 pounds of muscle naturally, which is in the upper limits of what's possible naturally. And I did it on a pretty relaxed workout schedule. I did it working out every other day. So that motivated me to create this channel. But not only that, I'm also in the process of launching a startup, my Business Intelligence Finance Technology Consulting Training Accelerator. That's a mouthful. BI-FinTech Consultant Accelerator. So from all of my research into marketing, what I realized, you have to make media, because even if you're getting 100 views a day, which is what I'm averaging, it's still very helpful in promoting your product. So the combination of the two is how I ended up in this channel. So today we are working out arms, and for that I do biceps. I do shoulders, triceps, and biceps. I always work out the muscle groups, or try to, in the reverse order that is my favorite. So biceps is my favorite, so they go last, because I know I can still put in effort even at the end of the workout. Shoulders, I always forget about shoulders. Not that I don't like them, it's just, so I do them first. Right, so I put on 40 pounds of muscle, and hopefully that's what I'm gonna be able to communicate with you guys in this channel. How to do natural bodybuilding. Now, usually I say if natural bodybuilding is not your interest, just do high intensity cardio 15 minutes a day as a keystone habit. Never miss it. I would put that as number one before anything. So I have what's called the daily operating system, and exercise goes in the first position because it is what I call the keystone habit. It makes everything else better. It makes your focus better. It makes interaction with other people better. It makes your availability for family better. Because of that, it comes before everything, right? So if natural bodybuilding is not your interest, just do that. I actually did that, just high intensity interval training for a long time. But after about a year or so, I wanted to work out again. And I used to work out like a decade ago when I was 15, and I got discouraged after 2 years of working out because I felt I hit an upper limit. I couldn't add more muscle. I was just training wrong. The intention of this channel is anyone who feels discouraged with natural bodybuilding, and when I say natural, just protein and creatine. Nothing like performance enhancing drugs that have androgenic effects or that affect you at the DNA level, which is often what's required for competitive bodybuilding. I think there's like a misconception that you must participate in performance enhancement drug in order to enjoy bodybuilding as a hobby. And I don't think that's true. And I think I'm a perfect candidate for that, because I started at 130 pounds, now I'm at 170, and so it's possible. And you don't need to work out 2 hours a day, 7 days a week either. In fact, I tried working out 7 days a week, and it is counterproductive. You need high intensity and high rest. If you shortcut the rest, you won't grow. If you shortcut the intensity, you won't grow. So rest is crucial, and intensity of training is crucial. You have to push yourself to failure. And if you can't go to failure, you have to use intensity techniques like supersets, drop sets, static reps, partial reps, ignition sets, and static holds as a must if you're after hypertrophy, which is specifically targeting increase in muscle size. And that's what my preference is. You will get stronger, but we're not going after the 1 to 5 rep range, which causes you to get stronger faster, but what's called the time under tension isn't there to promote muscle growth. So I like to work in the 10 to 30 rep range with high intensity techniques. And over, I have to say, this is a secondary hobby for me, but it's not the primary thing. The primary thing for me is my training academy and digital business and online entrepreneurship. From that angle, I'm just going to be straightforward. I am currently struggling. It is something new for me. I don't know how to do it, and I am on thin ice because I saved up enough money to survive for a year, and I had to launch the business in that 1 year time period. And it is now 1 year, and I have, I think, 6 weeks left with the burn rate of $40 a day, which is what I'm calculating. And unless I figure out this puzzle now, I am screwed, basically. The time has come for me to figure this out. And so what have I been doing for the past year? I put over 1,600 hours into designing the product. So pretty much, why did I make this? There's somebody called Naval Ravikant, and he is a brilliant person and author. If you get a chance, definitely read his book. But he has principles on entrepreneurship and life and money and so forth. He's a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. Podcasters like Tim Ferriss, who are very famous, look up to him. And so I read his book, and one of the techniques I learned from his book is, in business, you cannot be a commodity. You can't just be selling something somebody else is selling, and because then you can only compete on price. So you have to bring a unique product to market. And what best way to do that than to productize yourself? So basically, I was working as a project management consultant, earning $17,000 a month take home, and I really figured out that industry. I know how to crack the code to getting it. I know what to study. I know how to study it. I know what certifications to read. I have lots of experience. It's my core essence of all of my professional work is that field. So I decided to create a training academy teaching people how to become professional consultants in project management for finance technology. And I know I'm very good at it. I can teach it. So that's what I decided. Now, let's see. Now, what's it called? So I spent my time on that and not on advertising. Advertising is not my main focus. I don't know how to do it, but basically, I think I can do it, but I'm on thin ice. I have been working 12 to 14 hours a day, every single day, working on the product and working on the academy and trying to crack the code of how to launch it. I could have just stayed in my excellent job, which I can still go back to if this doesn't work out, but it's in my nature to pursue things that are difficult. And I maxed out that career. I learned a lot of what I had to do. I was managing a team of 20 data analysts and programmers, and we were working on really cool projects, but I had been doing it for years and years, and I was itching for a challenge. I always want to challenge myself. It's just my nature. I studied aerospace engineering because it was the hardest engineering. So I wanted to figure out digital entrepreneurship, and I left that field. I quit my job and I downsized. I took all of my resources and I concentrated into the singular purpose, which is fun. It gives a sense of excitement to life. You're pursuing a very cool project, but on the downside, it is extremely stressful, especially when the timelines start drawing thin. But as a professional project manager, I'd like to think I have the capability to manage my resources, govern my time, launch it, learn new skills, and so forth. Otherwise, I wouldn't have tried it. So I'm down to the final 4 weeks, which means working out on a regular cadence is becoming challenging. However, I still want to explore the upper limits of natural bodybuilding. So I started at 130 pounds. I am now 170 pounds and about 9% body fat. I want to get to 180 pounds, 9%. That is my goal. But I need to keep the rate of protein synthesis really high as a natural bodybuilding athlete, or I know I won't be able to make it to 180. I'll just plateau at 170, which is fine. But the challenge now lies in trying to get to 180 pounds, 9% body fat, while learning the marketing aspect of launching this agency, while not running out of resources to do so and having to abandon the mission. So balancing all that meant I have been working 12 to 14 hour days trying to figure this out. But also something interesting is I recently discovered the upper capacity of working, which is something called the Circadian, I forget the word now, Circadian Nadir. Okay, it is an English word, you can look it up, but pretty much at 5:30 to 6 in the morning, your body temperature is the lowest, and at that time, your heart rate dips, and I have been working till that point, the Circadian Nadir, which means at that point, the heart rate is so low that I don't have enough heart rate to sustain my cognitive efforts. I literally start having slower breathing and my body hits a physical wall it just cannot go beyond, and I have to pass out. And my sleep tracker, it will show me that the lowest point of my heart rate was right before I passed out, and it slowly grows overnight. So usually when I'm not trying something crazy like this, it's actually you fall asleep at around 70 to 80 beats per minute, depending on how much coffee I had. And then slowly it dips to about 50 to 55 beats per minute. And then at the deepest point of my sleep, and then it goes back up to 70, and then I wake up after about 7 hours. Currently, I will work till 5:30 in the morning, and that's why my gym sessions have been late. I'm trying to fix this because now my resting heart rate's all jacked up. My central nervous system is exhausted. My resting heart rate right now is 95 because of these crazy missions. The lowest point is in the beginning, and it slowly climbs. So I found my physical limit of working, which is this new terminology I learned recently, because I had to look up, why is my body reducing its heart rate at 5:30 in the morning? And it basically, there's an internal clock called the Circadian clock, and it runs even in the pitch black. There are things that influence it. For example, cold shower in the morning releases a lot of cortisol, and that times your circadian rhythm to the day and night cycle, along with other things like bright sun in your eyes and regular sleep time. So because of all of that, working out has become a challenge. However, I still want to explore the upper limits of natural bodybuilding. So that is the challenge I'm trying to balance, and I am 1 day behind on my workout. Luckily, I work out every other day. I can make up for it by going to the workout tomorrow, which is nice, but it is a challenge, and I am trying to figure it out, and I shall figure it out. I am not going to quit. I will go to the very end, and I will try my hardest, and that's what it is. So today we are going to work out arm, and I apologize about the rant. It's just that for 14 hours you work on this one task, and then I'm trying to switch my brain to the other. But basically, okay, last thing on this. Basically, I have turned it into an excellent product it's an algorithm that produces a project management consultant in the finance technology domain by productizing my knowledge and teaching 3 certifications, including the job placement strategy portion. I've spent over a year of my personal effort making the very best product that I can, and it took a lot of effort. Okay, and now in terms of arm, all of that is on my mind, and now I need to go and do a killer workout. So how am I going to do that? How am I going to, my normal mind, which is focused on learning things like email marketing, putting together an offer, figuring out how to hire virtual assistants, figuring out how to launch an outbound campaign, calculating my burn rate, which is what my mind is percolating with. But how am I going to take that, put it aside, and train? Here's one thing I know. For maximum hypertrophy, i.e. maximum rate of protein synthesis, you need 2 things. You need a lot of protein. So I think you gotta drink 3 protein shakes a day with a scoop of creatine in each. I have been doing that for over a year. Protein is just dried milk. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to cause cancer. It's totally fine. Just get a good one that's grass-fed from New Zealand, has stevia as sweetener, not so you're not farting everywhere. To be frank, if you're going to drink 3 low-quality protein shakes, you're going to get gas, so don't do that. But building muscle comes down to protein synthesis versus rate of protein decay. If the protein synthesis rate is greater than the decay, you will add muscle. That's all. That's all it comes down to. If you take steroids, it will increase protein synthesis. If you eat protein, it will increase protein synthesis. If you work out, it will increase protein synthesis. So the end mechanism is protein synthesis. And to increase protein synthesis, we do time under tension. We don't do steroids or anything like that. We don't need it. And we eat lots of protein, and that's all. And we go to failure. Intensity techniques. So now what I'm going to do is, you won't see this on camera, but before every set, I take a moment to myself. I pause, I do breathing. It's almost like 10 seconds of meditation, just so I can go as hard as I can for that one set. And that will allow me to take the muscle to muscular failure. And you really need to push hard to get to muscular failure. That is the stimulus to increase protein synthesis. Think of it like a light switch. If you come in here and you do a bit of volume with a bit of intensity, if you're a total, it'll probably cause some changes. But if you want to pack on 20 pounds of muscle a year naturally, like I did for 2 years in a row, 40 pounds of muscle, what you have to do is you have to go to failure. So often it's hard to go to failure, and the way you go to failure then is, what you got to do pretty much is use intensity techniques, supersets, drop sets, length and partial reps, static holds, run the rack style drop sets, probably forgetting a few, but my workout concentrates on all of those techniques to maximum intensity, thereby maximizing protein synthesis after I leave the gym. So I know if I go in here and if I just do it half-assed, then I'm wasting my time. So all of other crap, the business crap, is put to the side. I'm coming in here and I'm chasing failure. That is the objective for the next 60 minutes. And then I can go back home for the next 2 days and I can take my time and do whatever I want. So this is actually not very time consuming. You do 60 minutes of effort every other day and you're done. Okay, enough talking. Let's do this arm workout. I'll see you. All right. So as much as I like doing pull-ups, I need to get to the essence of the workout because I got to get back to work. So I'm going to keep the calves in there. The accessory work, I don't want to skip that. That's important. I'll do that with discipline. The pull-ups I would just throw in there for fun almost every workout. I need to dial that back because I want to keep my workout at 1 hour. So I'm going to go back to my old style of warming up, which is 30 pounds of side laterals with 10-pound dumbbells. All right, up next is 2 minutes of plank and some stretches. All right, so next we're gonna do calves. Now, calves is my accessory lift for this workout. Next workout, I switch it to traps. I alternate it. And for calves, I start with a light weight and about 30 pounds or so. And I'm gonna do 20 slow reps with partial reps as well to get the calves warmed up. I'm going to take a short break, like a 1 minute break, and an ignition set. And then after that, I'm going to do multi-level drop set, like 4-level drop set, or maybe 5, each with partial reps. And those 2 sets, the ignition with the multi-level drop set, will be enough to fully exhaust the calves.
All right, that felt really good. So the trick to those is you have to go to the maximum stretch position. That's the trick to every exercise, but especially for calves, I'd make sure I go there. It's more important than the top position, and you have to do them slow. So now I have done the ignition set, and then I'm gonna load the machine to 120 pounds. I'm gonna do as many as I can, nice and slow. I might only get 3, and then I'll do half reps. And then I'll lower it by 1 level, like 10 pounds or whatever the increment is on the machine. I'll just work my way all the way to the lightest weight. So it'll be like a 5 to 6 level drop set. Okay, so accessory work is done and warm-up is done. I am skipping 5 minutes of stair climber, which does risk injury. I do recommend doing that. I'm doing that in the interest of time. But let's see. Next to shoulders, I'm going to do it over 3 sets. The first set is an ignition set, 20 pounds times 20 reps. I might have partials in there. Actually, no, it's just clean 20 reps. Then the next 2 sets is 2 supersets of shoulders, each with partial reps. I use 30 pounds and then I use 20 pounds. And yeah, that's what we're going to do next.
I take rest pause instead of doing sloppy reps. So after, with a heavy weight, if the side laterals get tired, I do multiple rest pauses and I get it done with good form. Okay, that felt really good. Now, even though I'm taking rest pauses, I am pushing hard. So you don't want to use the rest pauses to be lazy. And I'm timing my rest period. So 1 minute and 30 seconds, rest for shoulders. And one more exercise, one set left for shoulders. Crossbody, one arm, shoulder cable, side laterals from the floor position of the cable. And we'll do that. And then we're gonna move on to tricep.
right, shoulders is done, and next is triceps. So I am going to take a 2.5 minute break between the muscle groups because I want my triceps to be fresh and not my shoulders fatiguing while I'm trying to work them out. So after that, I'm going to do, the first set's going to be like an ignition set, but I will do partial reps with it. So it's going to be about medium weight, I think about 70 pounds, 22 reps plus 10 half reps. The second set is going to be a 2-level drop set, both with partial reps. In the third set, I am going to do a multi-level drop set, probably like a 5 to 6 level drop set, and just try to roast the triceps with partial reps, full reps, and just work my way down the stack to get them fully exhausted within 3 sets, and I'll move on to biceps, and I'll work efficiently like that. Okay, so next is the superset for triceps, and it's going to be a drop set, both with partial reps. I'm going to do 150 pounds, I'm going to drop it down to 110, and it's going to be about 13 reps with partials and then 12 with partials on the drop. All right, so I did throw in an extra drop set there. It's just on the second drop, I failed too fast. So I did that. Now next is going to be more classic, which is tricep pushdown. And I am going to go fairly heavy here. I'm going to do about 250 pounds to start. And then by 2 levels at a time, I'm going to drop it down in a multi-level drop set. And wherever I can, I'm going to throw in partials. This is like the Hail Mary for the triceps, so I'm just going to go bananas on this. Maybe I should do some more volume for triceps, but I'm just doing it like that for now. So that's next. That hit the tricep really well. I can barely flex it. Okay, next is barbell curl. All right, so for bicep curl, I'm gonna make sure I use a flat bar to do the bicep curl, not the easy bar, because the angle of the easy bar does not get a full contraction on the bicep. And maybe I can demonstrate it, but if your hand is like this, you cannot flex the bicep. If your hand is like this, you cannot flex it all the way. But as soon as you turn it, it flexes a little more. So you need it perfectly straight. If you turn it away, you lose some of the contraction. So no easy bar. We want the full contraction. And first is going to be just light, 40 pounds, 20 reps, controlled and clean for warm up / ignition set. Then it's going to be heavy, which is going to be 80 pounds and with partials. And one more set after that, which is going to be 80 pounds with partials and a drop set with 60 pounds with partials. And just this one exercise with the intensity techniques will be enough to absolutely roast the biceps. I'm gonna pause at 15 because the 40 pound wasn't available and I don't want to exhaust myself on the warm up. All right, one more set left. So I'm gonna go for 6 plus 7 on the 80 pound barbell curl, and then 5 plus 5 on the 60 pound superset, and we're done. All right, sweet, we're done. That felt good. I added a rep on the second set with the 80 pounds, so that's a win. But then the superset was super exhausting, but that's good. By the end of the workout, I got the biceps exhausted. Okay, next is some posing, and then we're done. Now, I do want to mention that because I'm tracking my reps and my half reps and everything in the progressive overload logs, you can see at the end, that's how I knew that I was going to go for 6 reps. And the fact that I could get 7, actually, that means my biceps grew a little bit because I time my rests. My cadence of my workouts is very regulated. more or less. I'm behind on one workout. So if everything stays constant, but I got one extra rep on the 80 pounds on the barbell curl, it means my biceps grew a little bit. So that's the importance of progressive overload. It comes to the point where after a couple of years, if you don't write it down, if I did 5 reps this exercise session and last time I did 6 reps, it's counterproductive. So you have to make sure you match it. So yeah, now I know that I got one extra rep, I got a bit stronger. Okay, let's do some. Pretty good pump overall, but let's try this other view. Alright, I'm out of poses. Thanks for joining me. That was a good pump. I'll see you guys next time. Hey there, Hassan here. Do you want a copy of this tracking sheet? Gamify your progress and level up. It's exactly what I used. Just click the link in the description for your free copy.